this episode of the National Treasure Series, we sit with Tenson Scott of Cayman Brac.
When I walked in the door and I met Mr. Scott, he had this in his hand. Well, what is this? Describe this to me.
This is the fishing line that you had to use, wire line with a piece of line attached to it. In the old days, this wire would all go out and the line would be is attached to it. This hook was the hook you had to use because we were fishing for wahoo or anything along that line in the ocean.
I mean, I'm no fisherman, and but this looks like something a little too heavy that I would think you would use.
The kind of fish that we be throwing for is not small fishes, no snappers, no jacks, and nothing of the sort, no groupers. We are throwing for wahoo, and the marlin takes it. So you gotta have something like this, and on the back of it, you better be the man to know how to handle yourself, because this wire, and we didn't use gloves. Now, this was going on before I was born.
Okay.
And after I was born, I learned some of it, then I had to do it.
Tennyson showed us how it worked and why it was so effective.
Here was different, because right here had a leader on it, a leader wire.
Something more flexible?
Yeah, that would be the leader wire. Okay. And the swivel, so it would move about.
Okay.
A swivel. And then this would go out. You unravel this. If you could just hold them, say, open your mouth and put it in, it will always catch the fish. You wouldn't drop off. But when they grab it from different angles. And when you set the hook, sometimes it just come out on the side and pops it when you put it straight. But because this was short, this whole thing was short, not as long as they use these days, and you had a piece of line back off, but it wasn't much line. All you had was seamlet of this with the line, and it was made from thatch. In the old days, they weaved a little rope that most Caymanians know, but they had a woman that would weave a little small one, give it to her husband, so that he had this for a little backup.
Any advantage the fishermen could gain was essential for the survival of the family.
When the big fish take it like a marlin, you cannot pull them right in. Impossible.
So there's a style of fighting the fish.
Yeah.
That Caymanians used to use?
Yeah, they taught me that. It's not just catching a fish, you have to know how your reflex starts. Because if you don't do it right and quick, he will go the other way, and what's going to happen, you'll be a ski in your little boat going, or your hat will come off. But it didn't happen. Why? We did skill. So here's, I tell you, and you bring it out and then you lock it in case he tried to get bad. But when you did it, you twist his head, and the head comes to the boat, and he moves his tail, so he comes like a baby. So we are not as great as what it seemed, but at least we use the karate thing to make him come to us instead of going away from us. This was what we call real fishing. This not just throwing a line and holding on to fish like this or saying, oh, you're fighting. You do what you got to do then to be in control.
And it was important. Their families and the entire community depended on their success.
Because if he takes control of that little catboat, you're in some trouble. Especially the marlin, not the wahoo. He gets not 1 inch. He gets none. No, none. None was given. Now, I hope everybody can take this in. That is how it works. And we change it now because we all know the modernism.
Yeah.
Well, let's
give him line.
Yeah, oh my God. And get the camera out and take something. But none of that in the old days. No, so just get nothing. He get nothing. And the reason why he get nothing, we turn his head in time because he got a big tail and he got more strength than the two guys. The marlin has more strength as far as your arms are concerned. He got a pike on him, and then he will jump. He'll go through your sail, if you got a sail up trolling, and he will turn your boat over. And he will drive it through your boat. We have experience. He driving the pike because he comes so fast. Yeah. When he gets to the boat, he sees the boat too. He don't like that. Yeah. Then he'll make a turn, but the guy in the boat's supposed to lay right down and give him a jew with a knife. If he can get that done, you take all of this stuff. When you bend this line, the bend stays in it. It will stay in it. It's all around you, so nothing can go back. You'll be gone with it. It's a danger zone.
Oh yeah. This is life and death. You have no motor. You're out in
deep, beyond the drop off.
You're right. This is a powerful animal that you're trying to get into the boat. But you said you're going to stab him with a knife because today we use a gaff. So
it was no gaff for a marlin. You don't you don't put no gaff in him. He'll take you from the boat with a gaff in your hand. He's too strong.
You were stabbing the marlin while he's on the side.
Yeah, he ain't gonna come straight to the boat because he's going to get away from this thing in his mouth. He don't know nothing. All of this you got to know that
he's trying to get a kill shot in his back of his head or something with his knife.
Yeah, but you have a good knife, PJ, you know. You have to have a knife in the boat. You don't go fishing around with a fish, you bring a knife. The knife is like a hook on the line. You must carry that. What I'm telling you, that's the kind of equipment you need, a knife, okay? And you have to get this water glass. The water glass was intelligence for the Cayman Island people.
People wanted to see what was happening under the sea. They placed glass windows in the water. This allowed them to look at all the fish and sea creatures without scaring them away. They watched how the fish swam, where they went, and how they played together. By doing this, they learned a lot about sea animals and their homes. This helped start the study of the ocean, which we call marine biology today. It was a wonderful way to discover all the amazing things hidden under the sea. And as Tenson conveys, having a water glass would serve Cayman Islands fishermen well.
This goes for anyone who is listening or watching. It goes for all fishermen, even if you're pretty good. I am amazing, so I know all the techniques. As long as you be nice to the fish, give him food, whatever type, different foods, not one type of food all the time. You have to understand what type of fish you want, what type of food he eats, to carry it out there and counteract him from what he eats. Want to try out certain things when he tastes it, it is nice, and he stays there or go off and come back with his friends. This is the key to water glass, teach you that.
We in Cayman brought soldiers was the one, the choice of bait. But what else is there when you say that they eat different things?
Of course. Soldier crab is a highly recommended for fishing in the Cayman Islands for lots of different fishes from the beach or on the side of the ocean. Not for the marlins and the tuna and all them. No, no, no. This is the only way you see the bottom with your glass. And the fish along there will take soldier crab, squab, turbot, hogfish, grunts, old wives, all that. But if you want to keep those crabs around, keep them around. They're like the soldier crab. But they will leave the boat area and make you get fatigued as they're gone. But the trouble is, if you use sea urchin and put them down there free, but you got to crack them. And when I have to explain, don't use sea urchin with the long spine unless you really are a good classy fisherman. Because there are 2 kinds or 3 kinds of sea urchin. The dark ones, the long spine ones are dangerous. The Cayman Island people better watch it. One man just came down from Holland, he spoke to me, and I warned him. He's coming to check sea urchin, and I warned him. And then he looks at me and said, thank you, but I already got your warning. He had his finger with this. He went to the hospital to get him fix it. So as long as you put those urchins down there, they will try to carry it. They can't hardly get to carry it, but they won't bite fish, so they'll stay around. Give you your courage to stay fishing.
This is something you had to experiment with. This doesn't come in a book. Who taught you how to fish? And how did you improve?
Everything here was about fishing and farming on that bluff up there. And if you didn't teach your boy child, especially the boy child, if you didn't teach him, you're going to regret it, because it was nobody going around in foreign countries and trying to get back here. You're just going to live by the fishing and the farming. And to be a fisherman, all you had to be taught was the size of the mouthfish you like, so you use the right size hook. You don't expect one hook to go there and catch the big and the small. And you, as a good fisherman, you have to get these things straight. I learned mine by going so much that when I was 13, I was going to school down in Birmingham. They said, you going to school and you carrying a fishing line? I said, Mom, I saw yesterday at 12 o'clock when I went out to that one place on the north of the school, I saw a jack catching some fries and jumping at them, and they were coming up on the beach.
Yeah.
So I want to go today, and when lunchtime come, I'm going out there catch one or 2
At 12 o'clock, because you're looking for a pattern. You notice, and then you're making a decision.
Yeah, well, due to what she told me when she was talking to me, she laughed when I tell her that. And I said, well, you laugh? You don't believe me? She said, from time you were small, we saw you coming from the sea, we were so scared and so much bad waves, and you had fish in a bottle. So I said, okay, Mom, what is about the bottle? She said, you was too small, you don't know nothing about line and hooks, but yet you had these fishes in a bottle. I said, how I get them in a bottle? She said, you put little snails, you got snails by the seaside. My dad told me, no, it couldn't be him, he was in Jamaica, sailing on ships. She said, we say that you're going to be one of those mysterious little boys. You're going to grow up being a fisherman. So I said, huh? So I was great from then. She said, I it's something about you, but maybe don't make a teacher see that line, kind of what it says. Okay, Mom. This was known, I have to put this man's name in, Mr. Temple Tatum, dead and gone. The best you had up here. He'd go out before the sunrise to catch wahoo. I learned from him why. I didn't go with him. But when I go on the beach as a little boy to fish in the morning, 7, 8 o'clock, you see him coming ashore. And when he come, he had these big wahoos. And I couldn't question him. I don't know he's a great fisherman. My father and some of them would go. They come ashore with sometimes none. Not this guy. When they're coming out, he's coming back. So what was the key to that? Well, it's simple. I found it out when I talked to him when I got bigger. Because I wanted to be like him. So he told me what were. I said, why don't my dad do what you do? He said, you can't make people do just because you tell them. They got their own little thing they think is right, and that's it. So you know what he used to do? He used to catch these koali in the morning, so it's still dark. The bluff looked further away, but it's not than where it is. And he go pull in the oars right up along, not in the ocean, and catch the big guy koalis. And by the time he get up there, because if it's not no wind blowing, he can't use the sail, we didn't have engines. And when he get up there, he got these 3 or 4 big koalis. He used the bright thing off of the cigarette back on the inside, and he jerk it with his hand just going up, and he catch these big koalis. But he catch them so in the morning, they bite so in the morning or in the night better.
So this is artificial bait.
No, that's not artificial bait.
He used it.
He used a little artificial on the hook.
Yeah.
Silver paper.
Silver paper.
He get destroyed after he catch one. It come off because it's not good like how the Americans these days modern make artificial bait. No.
But that's somebody coming up with an idea themselves, trying it out in Cayman, being successful. And other people still don't want to follow him though.
No.
Or you saying that other people say no.
No, they didn't want to follow him because my father and them, I go get bait to fish as a boy along the beach. I go to get bait and I could always get a piece of bait from him. But these other ones, sometimes I ain't got no bait. And they look at you kind of funny. But when I go to him, he said, I ain't got a bait for you this morning today. But when I clean the fish and the blood go out, I can give you the guts. And he give me the guts. And then he asked me, what are you going to catch? I know what kind of bait you must use to catch certain fish. A bank tail snapper, a jack, or a grouper, or a mutton snapper, right down there. But it depends on how you put it. Your hook must shoot the fish you want, and some is big.
So I just want to go to clarify this now. This is the wire line.
Yeah.
After this, now they used to put thatch on top of this on the edge, and they used to pull now.
Yeah, this was a line like this.
Or you be pulling with your hand now.
Yeah. The same, you don't wrap it.
Just fight him right to the edge. Stab him. Who you use gaff?
Huh?
You use gaff for a while. Who are you?
Not in the old days. No, that's not based off of the old days. No, you're talking about more than.
No, we talking about old days.
Yeah, the old days there was no gaff.
You just snipe.
You have to be a man of what you say you are. You're a fisherman. You don't go out there playing around the way you do these days.
We get it. Surely it used to be much tougher.
What you do with this fish, because there's no refrigeration, after you bring him in?
Well, you get more friends that day and you can give everybody a piece.
Oh, you
Of course you can. Yeah, of course. Because it's a share with you and the guy. But or the owner for the boat, because sometimes it's 2 guys going, it's not their boat. So you got to give the owner for the boat, and you got to give the 2 guys got to share it among themselves too. So it shares in 3 in the old days.
Yeah.
In the old days.
But then tomorrow you do it again. This is not a sustainable thing. This is, I have to do this every morning.
Yeah,
to live for that.
Yeah. You said what you do to secure the fish by being such a big amount of fish.
Yeah.
Well, you had what you call the salt in the fish to save it. You scorch it. You have to know how to scorch the fish with a knife. You play it off, hold it, and scorch it. And when you scorch it, when you hold it up, each one of the slabs hang open so the air can get through to it, and you put the salt in it, then you hang it in the sun, and it dries. After a week, every morning you get up, you take it from it, don't leave it outside in case rain may come, put it in a small little place you build, and then you take it from there, put it back on the range, just like how a woman wash her clothes, and hang it on the line to dry, because there was no wash machine those days. And then in about 2 weeks, our fish is dried so good, it can go over a year. You can still eat that fish by putting it in for 1 hour and soak it and get the salt out of it. And that is why we went against banning groupers in the Cayman Islands, because it was essential to have these groupers. When the bad weather started this time of year, you couldn't go out there. You catch them, salt them, and keep the groupers.
So it was just always on the side of the shore, ready to be deployed for there's opportunity happening right now. Drop what you're doing, as well. It's not the cassava going to stay there right there.
Yeah,
I'm not going over. And then to preserve it with salt in it. And this is the lifeblood of the island, because if you don't eat turtle or fish, you'll die.
While setting up for the shoot, we learn remarkable things about Tennyson's early life. One story begins with him climbing the bluff.
You climb on the bluff in a certain location to get access to grouper.
Oh yes, I'm Tenson. Everyone knows me here. I'm the crazy guy who do all kind of things up there, and the rest didn't do.
Tell them your method, because it sounds dangerous and it doesn't sound like somebody would make that choice to risk their life.
I think the best thing for me to say is give you the touch of the instinct of everything. Not everything, but this bluff business, the climbing. It has to be talked about so you can understand.
Yeah.
Because right now, you say I'm a little crazy man you're talking to because of going over without ropes and things. Okay. I see turbot from the edge by the light. Just walking the edge. Just I'm going to looking. You see turbot swim on top of the water and fishes down there. And I decided one day, I said, you know what? I don't think anybody goes down to fishing on these bluffs, but I'm going to do it. So I done it. And I kept it up. Then I dragged someone with me. He don't want me to do anything because it is not good to climb the side of that bluff going down.
Especially in the old days, without proper safety gear or technology like smartphones.
It's worse bringing up loads. It is worse because you can't stop and fix nothing.
For a better perspective on the dangers relating to the rocks on the bluff and its towering height, consider that these are tall trees.
And it's not on your head with a basket, the Cayman basket,
Yeah.
You couldn't put it, you had to put it across right here. And the rocks will destroy your back mostly, and the fish is nearly the same. But up there, when you look, you see some big black things down in the sea. That's where a grouper would live. I'm a fisherman, I know where groupers like to live. I say, yeah, and catch me some groupers. It didn't have no ban on it then. There was no ban on groupers. So I go on 3-4 groupers. There's another thing, my mother I was telling my mother before I married. She loved the groupers that don't come from the grouper hole. The groupers from right here, further out there, just before you get to the drop-off, around the high head we call it, or in the shore, you don't have to put too much lemon on it. It don't carry much of a rank smell. It don't. They pixel all these keys to let you know, all groupers is okay, same groupers. When it comes to you cooking them, whoever cooks it and know how to fix their food, they don't have to squeeze much lime on no grouper that's caught over by the lighthouse or out here by the high head. You don't require much lemon on it.
We learn more about Tennyson in his older years as a fisherman.
I had a gift when I was born. Okay, so I decided to do it. This wahoo that the Caymanians with his tenors call professor. Come on, sir. A wahoo is a wahoo. How are you going to call him a professor and you're a fisherman? You go there and find him. He comes to your boat. Come right up to your boat when your boat is stopped. And he looks like he wants to say hello, but that's his tail that zoom up, go right back under the water and come up across the top and look at you to make sure you see him. And he's about 60 odd pounds. And you want him. All Caymanians want him.
The professor.
Yeah, and then the Caymanian call him a professor. Do you know you downgrade yourself as a fisherman if you call a fish a professor?
So, there's this very clever fish. Everyone there calls it the professor, a mythological fish. Different, because the fish is so smart, it's hard to catch. Back in the time Tennyson speaks about, the best fishermen tried, but the wahoo always got away. It seems that Tennyson wouldn't give up.
I catch the professor. My style, meaning a gift. That wahoo came to my boat one day and he made me look like an idiot, like I was dumb. I had 4 bonitas and he ate 3. by me giving him peace, trying to trick him. And I couldn't get him. He wouldn't take it. I mean, he would eat everything in clear water. I didn't want to give up. I'm not a man for giving up. I've done enough, couldn't do it. And then all of a sudden something happened. He showed me something. So now I'm going to give this to the Cayman Island people. Right here is something for the people who is looking. Here's a hook, a swivel, and a leader. And that is all it is, what you see there. Cayman Backers call him the floater because he comes up. Caymanians mostly call him the professor. Well, they said he was afraid of flying, and I had thought so too. Until I find out he's not afraid of flying. He's afraid of all that leader that puts on those big 10 hooks and the big swivel. So I bring it down to that with intelligence. And I put a piece of bait longer, which is 6 inches. This is only 4 inches. Be careful, fisherman. Take a good look. And all you do is hook it in to the end of the bait. Put your line on it. Have a long line. Because this little hook is too small for a 60-yard-pound wahoo. Hook it into the end. Pull it right through and bring your swivel up beyond him, back in here. Then hook him again like a woman sew a piece of clothes together. And just hide in the 6 inches. This is only 4 inches. And that'll be 6 or 7 inches, and it'll hide in there. And you give him the free bait, and he come and tell you thanks. And you put this out, and hold it in your hands. Don't fling it, and so it can stay hiding. And you give it to him, and he takes it, and you not let him go, just like you do with tuna. There you go, hand lines.
Now you're giving him line. No.
Yes.
No, you got to give him line.
You got to, because this cannot hold a wahoo that size nowhere in the world.
Right.
No, you got to give it. You better have the line, otherwise these will all come apart. So when he stopped, if I didn't know he was a wahoo, I would have said, okay, that's the tuna. Tuna normally goes down. Okay, but this wahoo goes too, but not that fast. Good gosh, he just made one speed, and when he stopped, I look at the spool of the line and say, oh my God, yeah, I got some left, but not much. Well, okay, well I know what it means. Now, he can't go no further. If he is, even if he can, he's not going to do it, because he has a control of reel that you guys. Meaning, you know when to stop something, and if he could go a little more. But he can't, because he used everything in one shot, straight down. Now he's tired, so he don't fight no more. He swims this way. Nice swimming, but in a circle. And coming up, and I keep putting it in, but hoping now to see him that he don't go back, because water will tangle up this, and then it'll come tight, and this will break off and everything. When I put him in my boat, put him in, this swivel, I want you to pay attention. Everybody in the Cayman Islands, the swivel was inside his mouth, the hook inside his mouth, and all of this, the swivel was hanging out tight outside of his mouth. Now tell me, and a fisherman, it's supposed to hang like that. Why was it straight out? Why? All fishermen try to figure it out, which is easy if you will believe my story. Why would it be sticking out? Because the pressure had it. So it scared me, but it made me proud to know I caught him, because he's mine now. 6 to 4.5 pounds.
The professor.
Okay. So yeah, the professor.
Professor.
No. And he was never a professor. They're those guys.
Tennyson explains why.
Look, you see the hook is there?
It's supposed to drop.
But once it went out, you guys got to realize now I'm Tenson, so I can catch wahoo with buttons. If you want to catch a wahoo, you need no hook. If you put a button on where the hook is, what caught him is that section that you see open there. That section that you see open there. His teeth went down in them. And because his teeth was down in them, when you shut it down, it pressed up against this, and his teeth went down, and that was hanging outside. So when I hold the hook, and I tried to set this little hook in the wahoo, I need to hold it, hoping that it was enough space that it didn't swallow it, and he would cut it off. He's a master of cutting. So I was hoping, and that little bit I think was God bless me or seek and you shall find. So it came to that, and I want the fisherman to take a look. That little swivel was sticking out, okay? I'm going to give you answers to a lot. So really what caught him, when I say use the button, and you realize that something was going on, because when I cut the line off and opened his mouth was jammed tight. When I say jam tight, his mouth was jam tight, and I took my big fishing knife, like all fishermen has, and I press it and I open it, and this dropped in the boat. So when I mention all this, I knew. So when I give those people a thing about the button, the button is you could put a button, run this through the button too, and it would get the same thing. When you open them out, the doggone button would drop in the boat the same way.
It wasn't the hook that caught the wahoo fish. The wahoo, not wanting to let go of the food in its mouth, would bite down hard. Knowing this, Tenson thought that even a button could be used instead of a hook to catch a wahoo. It sounds unbelievable, but he has another story that seems to prove the unconventional method works.
The next season, I was out up there fishing, and another boat was there. He said he didn't find nothing. I didn't find nothing. We all looking wahoo, and he said, "Oh my God, look at this here." The one in my boat looked at me and said, "You told us last year that you caught the professor or the floater, didn't you?" I said, "Yeah." "But what is he doing here?" I said, "So they're trying to say I'm a liar, huh?" "Okay. The two of you will remember this as long as I live." I said, "Give me my hook wire," and the guy gave me my hook wire. He was in my boat, the 2,000 Thomases. So I tell you, I'm fixing, when the guy said, "I'm fixing this," the other guy said, "What are you doing now?" He said, "Man, you're doing all kind of things here." He called this all kind of thing, because I'm throwing this into the bit, and he see it hiding. So all of a sudden, I said, "Okay." I said, "What is he doing?" That man was throwing the big piece of the tuna over the side. He could have taken it home for his wife. He was throwing it over the side to prove to me that this fish can come out of my boat and go and eat it. But he couldn't do it.
He goes up.
No, because this is the second professor that I can catch. And I said to the guy, "You get half a fish today, can we share the fish right down the middle?" Put it right behind this house here. And when I put it in him, when he ran down deep, the guy said to me, I said, keep the oars, pull the oars, pull it. "Okay, good, my friend, keep it." When we get him, he put the gap in him, put him in. He hollered and tell the guy, he said, "He got him." And do you know, I guess you all know, blessed is he that don't see and believe. That is written. I showed them it right there, and they still didn't want to believe. The one in my boat believed, but that guy in the other boat right there wouldn't believe. Okay? So you know what I done? I said, "Take the hook out of him." I said, "I bet you he got shocked him." When he went to take the hook out, he said, "I tell you one thing, you catch him all right, but the hook is sticking out the swivel." Same thing again. I said to you people here today, why is this again? On the outside. But it was the same guy that caught the first one. I'm the same guy. The second one, okay? Well, the guy said, "Where do you want it?" I said, "Cut it off." I said, "Yeah." "Oh, Jesus." I said, "Yeah, I know." He said, "Well, you know, you can't see up here." He was in the head with it, and I was down in the stern. I said, "I can imagine. You're shocked. What it is?" He said, "The hook dropped in the boat." So there you go again. Hook dropped in the boat. Now that's two people, right? You really don't need a hook. As a far as sack, you don't even need a hook for the other wahoo if you got a long line. And you do this because this is what he jams his teeth into. And you won't open his mouth. If he get pressure, he have enough sense from big hooks and hold on it. When you do this, he cause him to open him out. He will shake. But when you're not getting no problem, when your teeth is hurt, you should take it up, or sometimes you leave it and still move around. He's doing the same thing. You go down and you take your time with him, and you still catch him. But the hook is the best way, I think, to get him. My way was to hook him and hold him, pull him up. But this little thing had to catch the professor.
It shows an unconventional way to catch wahoo. It seems there was another fisherman who tried Tennyson's idea. Did he catch a wahoo too?
In case on it don't still believe me, go to Keyshawn Rich. He just bought a big boat with 2 big engines. And he didn't know much about fishing. And I gave it to him, how to catch wahoo without worrying about this. Because I didn't figure he would be able to handle it, to remember it. I told him about currents, how to catch fish with. Go by the currents, and you will be able to find wahoo when the season is on. 3 weeks after, 2 weeks, he was catching wahoo like hell, but not with this. And when the 3 weeks was up, he called me on the phone. He said, "There's a wahoo by my boat. I got 2 wahoo, but I can't catch this one. He's eating all my bait. Didn't you tell me how to catch him?" I said, "You made that little thing. You told me you had made it." "Oh, I think so. I wasn't." Let me go in my hook pan. He went in his hook pan, find it, called him back on the phone and said, "God, Jesus, that." Man, he said, "What do you think happened?" And I'm taking the hook. I said, "No, bring him down here." He brought him right down here to all the people, and he put him up there, 6.5 pounds. He put him there, and when he opened his mouth like that, when you open his mouth, the hook drop on the table. My God, how much more do they need to understand this thing works?
We finished our talk with Tenson learning about the arts and crafts he sells at NIMS.
This is a piece of Caymanite, but according to Mrs. Scott, it's not Cayman, it's Cayman brack. Tell me, how do you get a piece of a Caymanite like this?
Well, it's always in there, made thousands of years ago, according to the geologists. And when you see it, they don't be pretty like that. This is what you see.
So this is raw, and this is...
Yeah. This is what be exposed to around, the sun, the rain, and everything else. This is what be exposed on the outside.
Okay, yeah.
Before I start tapping, hit it, see what happened here. Start getting clear. On this side, when it broke away from the inside, it gave me all this thing, and it looked beautiful because I haven't touched it with a machine or nothing.
And then this is a polished version?
Yeah, I polished this so that my wife was only 2-piece. That is the thing, when you find class of pieces, and if it's that big, they're classy. And if it's only that size, and that's all it is, that's the one, you can only find that there. Or if this big one, you find it there, you can't go down here and expect to find this guy too.
When you find this rock, you're saying that this is a rare piece, that this is a...
Well, you can look at it and tell me, no one looks at that. If you know how much people want that? Tourists want that and want to give me a big price. Go over $1,000. That can't go because you can't find it again. I want to keep that.
No, where did you find this rock?
Oh, over the side of the bluff, more than halfway, a little bit more than halfway down that bluff up there. The bluff is 140 feet high.
You went to get it yourself?
Oh, yeah. When I look in Caymanite.
Tell me the process, the dangers, and
well, the thing, I use my toes and my fingers to go down. You can't go down nowhere else because the bluff goes straight down. The bluff goes down right into the sea. If there's a little bump there, you're hoping you get to it. You can't stay from there and look. If you see anything out on the side from you, the road you're going down, you can't just look and say you see something, go and try to get it. You got to go down to where you think you can stop and put your butt on a little piece of a bump and see if there's anything around there. And if it falls, you don't try to grab for it. You let it go and you tell one of them boys to dive it up. And next time they go up, they're diving looking for bumps.
And for anybody who is not from Cayman, this is a jagged rock. This is limestone that is very sharp. That if you slip and you run into it, you're going to draw blood. And
well, if it slips up there, there's nothing for you. Because if a bump is there and you hit that from any height up, you're going to break some part of you completely, and when you roll again, the rest of you drop right down in the sea. And there's no way for you to swim in the injury like that. So everybody knew that I was doing crazy. They admitted, and I admitted just a little bit.
Now, you're using the stones. This is a piece here?
Yes, that's a piece of dark granite.
So you shape it?
Yeah, so I got machines that I can cut it from the rock and grind it, coarse grinding, fast cutting with the machine, and then I grind it, and then I continue it on belts. The belts must be different grits. And when you get to 6,000 and go on, it'll just be looking like you put polish on it, just shining. If anybody in the island have lots of Caymanite and you want to see something exciting, except just, is God done that? He put all the beauty in it. But when there is no beauty much in it, you can take your blade and cut near to the colors, but just cut near. Don't get pieces of the same thing like that. You cut
on the edge where this color is bled.
Yeah, you put the machine blade. Yeah, put the machine blade there. And what you will get if it's a big piece, oh my God, you ain't gonna get no more lines. You're gonna get a painting. Huh? I'm not kidding you. You can check the colonels in Grand Cayman. They'll show you a boat in the sea with an engine on it. That's by cutting it the way I say. But nobody here wants to trouble that pretty Kim when they run this way. They want to cut off piece this way. You can have that current culinary piece. But I turn it the other way and don't want to do it. But when I cut with the blade, you see a drawing like flowers, like trees on the sea. Beautiful. But you don't know why I get there, you do it. But
yeah, that's you're an experimenter. So you're somebody who's willing to risk. Hey, listen, you're willing to risk a piece of Caymanite to see what happens?
Yeah, that's the thing. Them guys don't want to do that. I mean, you got to put up with them lines. But I don't really want to do it. But after I found out,
yeah,
what a mystery it can be.
you are selling these items through your store. It's called NIM Store in Cayman Brac.
Yes.
It's native island-made things. Tell me about your interactions over the years with tourists.
Well, all tourists seem to like the way that I handle them with talking to them. They have talked about all over the United States, they're ready to go to still talk, send me cards, send us cards until they're coming back to the Brac. They remember the nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
So with the tourists, we get along just fine. Now me and them get to be, they tell me and they like island stories of the natural thing from the beginning.
The tourist experience that you offer is a unique product, separate from what you're offering, right? Obviously, everything here is made by you, but this is not the norm. When they go into Grand Cayman and they go into a shop, there's a lot of stuff made in China, you know. There's a lot of stuff that we import and sell off as items and crafts and stuff, and nothing to do with
Yeah, but when you see that same necklace there, the little creature when you
this is a creature here?
no,
that's
that's the key. This is the key.
Yeah.
So this thing, I made that necklace, sent it to Cayman, and I was sent it. My daughter took it out. I had it for a Myanmar, a Japanese girl here, and I had it made to sell him because she's a foreign girl, and she made a leg notice creature who could produce something beautiful like that. And my daughter took it and sent it to Cayman. When she sent it, they called me to come down. I went down. They gave me $6,000 that night because of the necklace that was up my store that I show you. Now I'm making the earrings from it. And they're selling like crazy. These are pieces that I cut up from this.
Mm-hmm. So this is like a crustacean. This is like the shell of a lobster or something.
Yeah, but all he has is a piece of meat in here. A piece of meat. And you don't see no head. You don't see no claws, no foot, no nothing.
But this is, if I'm not mistaken, protected, right?
Yeah, the government has it protected. I'm the only one now that can go and do this. I can't my necklace and my key up bush anyway. And Juliana went and find him, but took him down. And she said, he's the one that come to you, sir. When I show him, he said, oh, she said, yes, sir. He was the one that got the 6,000 about a couple of months ago. Now he's worrying about the tourism, the ban and everything. He said, the tourists like that. I said, he said, my God, it's beautiful. I said, tourists think so too. And they buys it. Okay, he said, don't worry about it. Make as much as you want to make.
So you are the only person in Cayman that has the authority to go to...
Yes, to take these.
You call them sea beef?
Yeah, sea beef becomes a piece of meat here, like beef.
Yeah.
The other one say because you stuck to the rock.
Suck on.
But Americans say it is chiton, Chitons. It's old prehistoric things that's been around for ages. And they know them.
You use everything. I don't know what is a necklace. Have you used? Tell me. These are what I know.
Oh Lord, oh my God! I just remember these the knickers.
So
if you give them to your girlfriend,
yeah,
God in heaven, when she find their knickers,
yeah.
Well, she's not working one because you got two and she got have two. So she got like knickers. That means she like you. So you give that as a symbol. But they are called knickers by the old people.
Now, what type of tree, how do you collect this? How do you get it to look like that?
Hold on a minute, you'll make this thing sound real bad. You know what the name of that tree is?
No.
I know you didn't know, because you wouldn't ask me that. These are called knickers, and the tree is called cockspur. In the old days, you could, in school especially, you like the girl, but you couldn't do much talking. So you rub it on you, and when the teacher calls up and show you work, and you keep rubbing it because you're right close to it, and now you give it, but that's the one you like. And you make it hot, or you can keep it rubbing it in your hair, and then you touch her with it, and then the part you touch her skin, she jump harder. And like a needle, but it's just a bun. Then you hide it quick.
So if you're watching and you haven't tried it yet, you take this, this is a nut or a shrimp?
Yeah, he's a nut.
He's a nut.
Something inside. He has a kernel on the inside.
So, and if you rub it on your pants or anything,
yeah, it gets hot.
The friction will cause it to get really hot.
Yeah,
and then the game,
if you touch someone.
The game we used to play is sticking on. I mean, you have beautiful jewelry, beautiful stories. You sound like somebody who, like I said, you're like a scientist. You're willing to experiment and try things, and what you know works. You know, and you pass it on.
I used to make beautiful kites. You know the kites?
Yeah. I only hear stories about, especially Braccas making kites, and who could make the biggest kite, and who could make the one with the longest tail. But
the best kite that was ever really made is when you can make your kite go up in the air and go this way, like that, and then you say come down, and you can bring her till she touch the edge of the water and say, come back, and take her back and go straight up. That's me though. That's Tenson Scott making that. Yeah, that's great.
You're multi-talented. He is a fisherman. He is a jewelry maker. He is a pioneer, and he's a storyteller. And if you come to Cayman Brac, check it out, Nim Things. Mr. Tenson Scott, thank you for the chat. Really appreciate it.
And thank you too for coming.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
This concludes our episode with Tenson Scott. Until next time, this is National Treasures Cayman Islands.